Hi, this is Landon from thAutcast.com, and this message is specifically for parents of children who have autism. A lot of the things that I have to share about my life and about autism are fairly painful, and a lot of them make me and other autistic people who respond on my site pretty angry. It is not my intent when I express sadness about my life to make anyone feel guilty or to offer any sort of recriminations. I think it's very important for you to realize that, I'm probably not that much like your kid. Autistic people are really different from each other, and I was not identified as having autism throughout my childhood. I'm not diagnosed now. I'm self-identified. It's a little that's a little bit different from somebody who took an internet quiz and decided, oh my gosh, I have autism. I do have a lot of relevant experience and knowledge, but I am not somebody who hits the nail on the head in terms of what autism is, in terms of my personal experience. And so you must not ever make me the only autistic person you listen to. And I would actually ask more than anything else in terms of dealing with the voices of autistic people in your experience with your child. Don't do that with anybody. Always listen to a variety of autistic people. Even if you find somebody whose experience seems very much like your child, autism is a brain that develops in an unusual way, a unique way, really. Every autistic brain is like a snowflake. They're a little bit different. And so I don't want you to take anything I say as gospel for sure. Listen to it, hold it against your own experience. You're the ultimate expert on your child after your child himself or herself. And the most useful thing that any professor of education ever said to me in my either of my education programs was this: when you're dealing with a child who has a tantrum and you don't handle it well, don't worry, you'll get another chance. And I think all of that was that got me through classroom management. With very minimal social skills, I became a really good classroom manager because I learned not to take it personally when things went wrong and to make it just always my goal to do a better job. And I think actually I was able to do that, to really get better and better and better in terms of my ability to positively manage the behavior of children. And I think you can do the same thing. But I think it requires, in part, not falling in love with yesterday and not going back and wondering, if only I had done that, if only I had done this. Well, yeah, you know what? Nobody is a perfect parent. There's no such things. And especially no one is a perfect parent to someone who has something as complex and difficult and confusing as autism. So, what do you do? As I say, get a variety of parent voices, a variety of expert voices, a variety of autistic voices. Seriously observe your child. Boy, that's the most important thing. And you've got to come up with some sort of system where you're keeping and analyzing data about your child. That's people don't do that. They say, "Wow, my kid has this really big problem," and then they don't actually take the time to get the data on what the problem is. When does it happen? How often? What's the severity? Always, 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 always. That's the first thing, is get the observation. And then there are two more pieces that I think are really crucial to the success of any autistic person. And that is that the people around him or her have very, very high expectations. Realistic expectations, but high expectations. Expectations that they will be a magnificent, successful, independent, functional, hardworking, honest, pleasant, appropriately social, autistic person. That's what you want. Here's the second thing. Your child gets, just because you're different, when you're autistic, when you're gay, when you're, unfortunately, even when you're a woman, which is even not different, that's so normal, you get messages constantly that are negative, that tell you that you are wrong for being who and what you are. And you have got to do everything in your power to counteract those messages. You have got to, you've got to give your child the message that who they are, that what they are, is wonderful. You've got to teach them how to love themselves. That can be a very difficult lesson for us, maybe the hardest lesson. But it's the most important lesson that you can give your child. So, really, those two things: high expectations, demand more than your child thinks he can give, demand more than you think she can do. But then give utter and total acceptance, and really unconditional love for your child, to who they are. Honestly and truly, if you do those, you're going to be a good parent.